Hi, my name is Itzigan Baruch, Senior Technical Marketing Manager at GitLab. I'm frequently asked if it's possible to create GitHub action that triggers GitLab CI/CD pipeline. So let's create it now. Great. So to create action that will trigger GitLab CI/CD pipeline, we will go to Actions and we'll create a new workflow. And we will use this link, set up a workflow yourself. So it creates for me a basic template code. We would call it GitLab CI/CD. And here is the rules when it will trigger this workflow. It will trigger on push and pull request on this branch. And here are the jobs. We have one job called build that will run on Ubuntu latest. And here are the steps, the job steps, actually the task that will run as part of this job. First task it offers me is to do a checkout, but we don't need it because we don't need to check out the code in this step because the code is available in GitLab. Trigger. And we can just remove those lines. And now we will add the important step, which is trigger GitLab CI/CD pipelines. We have two options to make that. One is using the shell. So give it a name, trigger pipeline, and run. And we will use GitLab API for trigger pipelines. So it will be line of code like this one. You will just need to replace the token, the name of the branch, and of course the URL of your instance and the project ID. So this is one option, it will work, but so let's see another example how to make it. So I will just delete those lines and we'll, on the right side we have the marketplace for actions. So I will search for GitLab. And I see I have a few here for GitLab, so I will select the second one. And this is the actual code. I will click here to copy it to my clipboard, and then I will paste this code. I will fix the indentation, and I will explain you what is code. First, it uses this action. This is actually the repository and the version of that repository. And here are the parameters that this action needs. First of all is the host. The default is gitlab.com, so I can remove those lines because I'm using gitlab.com. You need a token in order to have permissions to trigger GitLab CI/CD pipeline. So I will open my project and I will go to the CI/CD settings and go to pipeline triggers, expand it, and create trigger, call it GitHub Actions. Add trigger, and this is the token that I need. We'll go back and paste it. And we need to specify the branch. Great. And the project ID, I will go back to the settings, take the project ID, copy, and paste it here. And last parameter is optional debug. Let's set it to true. So I think we are all set. So we just commit this code. And I will go back to GitLab to configure the CI/CD settings. It's very simple. Check this checkbox and then select deployment strategy and save changes. This is all of the CI/CD settings that I needed to do. Of course, we have a more advanced setting with the YAML configuration that you can customize your settings and add or remove jobs. But for starting, we really recommend to use the Auto DevOps, because Auto DevOps, it's not only that it sets for you all of the CI/CD, it's also based on years of experience and best practices that GitLab offers for CI/CD. I will go back to Actions and see what is status of my job. and this is the job. We'll open it. This is the build job, and I see it passed all of the steps. So it's actually triggered the pipeline in GitLab. So I can go back to GitLab, to pipelines. Yeah, indeed, new pipeline just started. And this is a visualization of my pipeline. We call it a pipeline graph. It shows me all of the jobs and the stages in GitLab. So we have here a few stages: build, test, review, dast, performance, and cleanup, that will run sequentially. And each stage is made of one or more jobs in it. So first it will take my code, build it, and create a Docker image from it, and will publish it in the built-in container registry here. So in GitLab we have built-in container registry. It saves you a lot of time. You don't need to have account in a third-party registry. Also in the job settings, you don't need to specify any credentials and the name of the repository. Everything is done automatically via the Auto DevOps that's set for me, and it will push it automatically. Then it will run a few tests for code quality, security, license compliance. Great. All test jobs just completed. The next stage is to deploy a review application. The job will take the Docker image of the developer's branch and deploy it to Kubernetes. So the developer will have a live instance of his personalized branch. This is very useful for the review process. And now, because we have a live instance, we can run performance and dynamic application security testing on that instance. And when the developer will be ready to merge his code, the cleanup jobs will stop those review environments. So just to recap about what we see here, this pipeline represents GitLab best practices for continuous integration. It empowers developers with the feedbacks they need, and all of this configuration doesn't require any efforts from the developer. Great! As we have just seen, we can empower GitHub Actions with Auto DevOps by GitLab. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon again at my next videos.